Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, I am so happy you are here. Today, we are going to be going over what I think are hot takes. They're my personal hot takes. As a registered dietitian, I see a lot. I see a lot of great things and information that's spread, and I see a lot of bogus BS, things that just kind of confuse people. And there's a lot. It's funny, whenever somebody asks me what I do and I say I'm a registered dietitian, the first thing that everybody always says is something along the lines of either, oh, you wouldn't like what I'm eating, or oh, you would have a lot to say about my diet, or they're like, oh, could you help me with my diet? I really need a lot of support in that area. Or thirdly, they're like, oh, you must be really, really healthy. And yes, I am really healthy. But there's a lot of things that people, I feel like, have a perception about with dietitians that isn't always actually the case. And there's a lot that I could say. I could probably do a part 2 on this one, but I'm going to keep it to just a few. And some of these may be controversial. Some of these you may not agree with. And I'm okay and willing to put this out there because this is what I believe, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And yeah, so I feel like I've been wanting to be more authentic and just let you guys know my thoughts and opinions rather than always just educating, which I think is a really great thing to do. And I think podcasts are a great place to obviously educate, and that's why I love podcasts. But I also want to let you guys in on my thoughts, how I think, my opinions, and more of the personal side of me. So that's kind of why I'm doing this episode. But I think it's fun. I love hearing people's opinions and what they think, and sometimes I don't agree, and it's I don't know, I never take that wrong. I'm just yeah, I think different, or I get some of it, but I don't others. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but I want to give you my hot takes on popular things in space. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. And I'm starting off hot and heavy. This one is probably going to be the most controversial one that I want to talk about. But first one that I'm just going to say, I don't necessarily, and it's kind of hard to say because I'll explain it, but I don't necessarily always agree with health at every size. Oh, I said it. I'm putting it out there. And I want to explain before you all go apeshit on me and think that I'm the worst person in the world, because I know that there's been a huge movement over the last several years away from the typical standards dieting and being really thin and being this certain curvy woman in society and all these models, and I love that I do stand for, getting away from this model thin physique for everybody, because that's not realistic. But I think that there's a limit. I am body inclusive. I think that everybody looks different, and you can be super, super healthy at different body sizes. Some person can be, bigger, built, have a little bit more body fat, and still be really, really healthy. Just like I think some leaner people can still be really healthy. But there is a line for both. Being extremely thin, and I've talked about this openly before because I had been part of that at one point, but being really thin, you do run into a lot of unhealthy habits and nutrient deficiencies and muscle breakdown and loss of bone density. You do run into a lot of health issues when you're really thin. You also run into a lot of health issues if you are too overweight, and that is what I want to say about it. I do believe in body inclusivity, is that a word? Being body inclusive, and acknowledging that you can be super, super healthy at different body sizes, at different body shapes, and everybody looks different and is different, and I get that, but there is a limit. And I truly, truly believe that there is a limit. There are some people out there that are way overweight, very obese, and promote body positivity, and they should promote body positivity, but they promote health at that size. And again, I love what it stands for. I love the inclusivity of it, and saying, like, you don't have to be model thin to be healthy. You don't. But again, these very overweight, obese people in the world that promote that, that's also not really what healthy is. Being at a certain level of body fat, maintaining a healthy body fat is healthy. You run into a lot of health issues when you are way overweight or obese, and we have a lot of that in our country, specifically here in the US, but there's a lot of issues with that side of it as well. And so I'm not shaming, I'm not here to body shame, I'm not saying that, oh, that's so, like, you know, I'm not saying that. I just think in terms of health, there is a limit, and people who are at extremes of both ends really need to know the limit and maybe not preach how healthy they are in those extreme states. Again, both overweight, heavily overweight, and severely underweight. Both of those groups, promoting health at that stage is not helpful to society, because again, you do run into health issues at both ends of those spectrums. So I hope that you understand what I'm kind of saying with this one. Again, I'm not body shaming. I am body inclusive. I think that you can be very, very healthy at different body sizes. Being, you know, a little bit heavier, a little bit thinner. Yes, I think that all shapes and sizes can be healthy, but there is a limit, and that's what you need to know. So that's my first really, really, really hot take. Second, fiber is a must. I feel like people just hate on fiber and they say it's not necessary or they don't pay attention to it, but it is. Fiber is so necessary for multiple reasons, and I feel like it doesn't get the attention that it deserves. Like, yes, I think fiber is getting talked about more now. I think there's a lot of things getting talked about more now in health, fiber being one of those things, but it's still just like this wishy-washy thing that people hear and they're like, fiber, yeah, okay, whatever, and they like store it in the back of their brain and they don't actually do anything about it. I think fiber is so important and needs to be talked about more, and that's, I guess, not necessarily a hot take, but it's a hot take in terms of, like, I feel like everybody just disregards fiber or thinks it's not that important or not necessary. It is. I'm here to say it is. If you want a healthy gut microbiome, if you want healthy bowel movements, which helps with a lot of other things going on in the body, you need fiber in your diet. So I'm going to keep this one really short. It's pretty self-explanatory. Fiber needs vary person to person. On average, we need like at least 25 grams of fiber every single day, which I would argue that 80% at least do not get that much in their diet, so check in with that. And people can have higher amounts of fiber and feel really good with that. Some people, if you're very low on fiber, I wouldn't necessarily just jump to 25 grams. I would ease your way up to that because it can cause a little bit of gas and whatnot and in the beginning until your body is adapted to it. But 25 milligrams is like the minimum on average. And you're mostly going to get that from fruits and vegetables, have tons of fiber in them. Also, whole grains have a lot of fiber. There's a lot of foods with fiber, but those ones are going to be like your top three broad food groups: fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Get those in your diet. You'll be getting more fiber in. Okay, next one. Next one I feel like is a little bit controversial as well, but hear me out with this one as well. I don't believe in veganism for weight loss. Vegans can do what they want to, and there is a way to go about it. Yeah, for sure. Like, you can be vegan and still be really, really healthy. However, people that just try veganism because they think it's going to really help with their weight loss and it's a healthier diet in general, no. Just, no. Let me put that simply. No. in terms of weight loss specifically, you need to stick with a calorie deficit. And you will probably benefit more from having real whole foods in your diet and getting your nutrients in than these fake proteins and missing out on essential nutrients. A lot of vegans miss out on essential nutrients like vitamin B, vitamin D, a lot of different vitamins and minerals vegans miss out on. And it's hard, and they don't get a lot of protein in their diet because there's what is known as, and I'm not going to go into it fully on this episode, but complete and incomplete proteins. Complete proteins are mainly animal-based protein, where you're getting all the essential amino acids. Basically, a complete protein is protein that has all 11 essential amino acids. They're essential because we need them through our diet. Our body doesn't just make these, we need these actually ingested through our diet. So, hold on, also I don't even remember what I just said. I think I said 11 amino acids. There's 9. Sorry, had to correct myself on that one. But that is what a complete protein is. You're getting all of the 9 essential amino acids in your food, and your body utilizes those. Those are mainly coming from animal-based proteins. They're really not in most vegan foods, hardly at all. So you're getting some amino acids and some protein from different foods, but they're not complete. They're incomplete, and so you have to combine foods. Like, for example, rice and beans. That's like a classic vegan combination for complete proteins. Rice has some, beans have some. Together they can make a complete protein, but apart they're not, and so you're not getting those essential nutrients in that you need. So again, that's a long-winded answer, but proteins, vitamins, minerals, a lot of vegans miss out on these, and they find that they have a lot of nutrient deficiencies, which is not good for your health. Like, your body needs these for certain functions, to perform certain functions and keep your body working as it should. And so if you're missing out on these, you're doing your body a disservice. Now again, vegans can do what they want. I understand like the ethical, environmental side of it, sure. If that is what you believe in, then again, that is what you believe in, and you are totally entitled to that. It's more so for the people that think going vegan is going to like do all these wonders for their health, and it's a healthier diet and they're going to lose weight and all this stuff. No, a lot of the times in current vegan diets, again I'm saying current because there's a lot of vegan meats and stuff now, like fake protein, fake chicken, fake beef, that vegans are like, oh, this is so great, there's a lot more vegan options, and so it's a lot more convenient. I can do this so much easier. Again, no. These foods are highly, highly processed. They are ultra-processed foods to make you think you're getting in good food and protein, but really you're just getting in a whole bunch of chemicals, and it's actually really not good. It can lead to, again, GI upset, leaky gut, intestinal permeability, which leads to bloating, gas, bowel movement issues, which can lead to hormone issues, which, again, like, it's just a spiral effect. And so if you're having inflammatory foods, if you're not having good quality food being a vegan, because one, you're like not a true vegan where you're doing it for the ethical reasons and you're just focusing on fruits, vegetables, plant proteins, and really having a whole food based diet. Most vegans today, I would argue, are more of the conventional vegan, again, shopping in the store for the fake proteins and like the fake stuff, the packaged items, the processed items that are considered vegan because it's really convenient for them. It's not healthy, and it's not going to help you necessarily with weight loss. You can lose weight just as easily, if not easier, because you're focusing on anti-inflammatory foods if you just stuck to a regular diet, animal-based diet, and did a calorie deficit. So, hate to break the news to you, but if you are vegan and you are doing it strictly for like weight loss or the diet reason, no. If you're doing it for the ethical, environmental, opinionated reason like that you have, again, I'm all aboard with that. I will support you in that, but again, it's more so like that other group that I'm talking about. Okay, next one. Again, I feel like this is kind of a hot take. But when people say you don't have time to make meals at home, I'm sorry, sister, you do. You do. Even if you work a really busy job, you do. I kind of get it for people who work maybe 2 jobs and they work all week long, like a 9 to 5, and then they do something on the weekend as a side job. Okay, yes, that is definitely a bit harder. before 95% of the population that works a regular 9 to 5 during the week, you have time to make food at home. I'm sorry, you do. You do. I see it with every single one of my clients, which I've had hundreds of clients over the last couple of years. So probably the thousands of clients over the last couple of years. So yes, you do. You do. I'm sorry. You need to stop making that excuse. If you have off on the weekends, you have plenty of time to prep some food. I am sorry. Even if you have one day off, you still could. And again, yes, it's a little bit harder if you only have one day off because you're probably doing other chores during that day, but it's still an option for you. You can't sit there and say, I don't have time, or I can't do that, it's not an option for me, when it is. You are just holding yourself back and making excuses for yourself and taking the easy route. When in reality, it's really not the easy route if you're trying to get healthy, lose weight, whatever the goal is, and you're eating out all the time for lunches at work and dinners here and there, and then dinners on the weekend, and you're just like, I'm struggling to lose weight, I don't know why. It's not really the easy route. The easy route is actually meal prepping and losing the weight that you want. Sorry. Again, that's my opinion on that, but there's a couple things that you can do. If you have a day off or the weekend off, take 1 hour out of your 48 hours over the weekend, Saturday, Sunday, 1 hour, take 1 hour, and meal prep. And it does not have to be a full-blown meal. You can, if you prefer to just have a recipe made and have that meal done all week, go for it. That's pretty easy. You can also just make ingredients. Make 1 to 2 protein sources. Put some ground beef or ground turkey on the stovetop. That takes tops 10 minutes to make ground turkey. You literally just chop it up and you let it sit there and cook. It's probably the easiest thing that you could do. So while you're doing that, put some chicken in the oven. Again, all you gotta do is open up a package, take out the chicken, season it, put it on a pan, throw it in the oven. It takes all about 2 minutes to season and put chicken in the oven. You let it sit in the oven for 25 minutes. You take it out, look at that, you got chicken ready to be eaten at any point in time. So that's 2 really easy proteins that you can make and that take 15 minutes tops. And the physical part, again, like if you're waiting for it to cook and stuff, obviously it's going to take longer, but the physical part tops 15 minutes to do both those things. I would argue less than that, but we'll say 15 minutes. There's 2 protein sources for yourself. Make 2. It doesn't have to be just those. It could be any protein source that you want, but make 2 protein sources. Make 2 carb sources. Again, really simple one is rice, especially if you got a rice cooker. You put a cup of rice in, a cup of water in, and you let it do its thing. It's pretty simple on the stovetop as well. You put rice and water on the stove, and you let it sit there for a half hour. The physical aspect of doing it takes 2 minutes, and then you just wait for it to cook. Super simple. Potatoes are really easy. All you gotta do is cut them up into cubes. That can take a little bit longer. When you're chopping things, I get it can take a little bit longer, but it's still not that long. It's really not that hard. Cut those up, put them in the oven. Again, all you have to do is wait for them to be done. You get the point. 2 protein sources, 2 carb sources, make 2 vegetables if you can. Some vegetables are better fresh, but if you don't have time during the week, make them ahead of time. There you go. You got protein, carb, and vegetables. You can make any meal that you want out of that all week long. You can make wraps, sandwiches, bowls, I don't know. You can make so many different meals just from having those ingredients cooked and ready to go. And again, does not take that long. All of that, cooking your 2 proteins, 2 carbs, and your vegetables should take an hour to an hour and a half on one day. That's it. So that's all the time you need. It's really simple. Stop making the excuse for yourself. Point blank, it's an excuse. Secondary to that, another way that you can do it is if you're making dinner already, double the portion size. Double what you're going to have. If it's you and your partner at home and you're making food for the 2 of you, double it and make 4. Guess what? You got 2 lunches made for the next 2 days. Super simple. You're already cooking. Just make more of it. Again, it's really easy to do these things. I think we just get caught up in thinking that it's so hard and that we have to make it so complicated when it can be so stupid simple. There's almost no reason why you shouldn't be doing it. So that's that one. You do have time to make food at home. You just need to get a little bit more disciplined with yourself and actually hold yourself accountable to that. Next one. Low fat or low sugar food is better. Again, just no. Simply no. Usually these items, if it's like low fat, I don't know, low fat cheese or low fat whatever, or low sugar, like sugar-free syrup, or like the low calorie bread, or I'll add that one too. Low calorie, low fat, low sugar. A lot of these items, not all of them, but a lot of these items are way more processed and have additives to them to make them taste better. So again, I'd rather you just go with the normal version of it and have less processed shit going in your body. All of this processed stuff, the additives, the, XYZ that goes into low sugar, low calorie foods, these can cause digestive problems, bloat, you might miss out on some nutrients, and so again, you're just doing yourself a disservice. Yes, calorie-wise or sugar-wise, that looks great on paper, on the nutrition label. That looks great, awesome, but what are the ingredients like? What is the actual quality of what you're eating? And again, some of these things aren't terrible, like low-fat Greek yogurt. It's not the worst thing in the world. I still think that you're getting a lot more nutrients if you have the full-fat dairy, but not the worst thing. But there are a lot of packaged items that will say low calorie, low sugar, low whatever, and it's actually way more processed and not as great for your gut health as just the regular thing would. Again, like I'll use syrup for the example because that one is just coming to mind. Low sugar syrup, low calorie syrup versus like a full maple syrup. Yes, the calories on maple syrup are going to be a lot more, but the ingredients on the low sugar syrup are probably, actually, you know what? Let's pause. Let's look up what, let's see, low sugar syrup. Let's do this together. Let's see. Sugar-free syrup. Okay, can I see the nutrition facts label? Okay, let's see. So, this one is Carrie's sugar-free syrup. There's a ton more, so I'm just going to use this one. The ingredients in this sugar-free syrup, which is 0 calories, looks great, right? No, it's 10 calories. Looks great on the label. No sugar. Awesome. The ingredients: water, sorbitol, cellulose gum, natural and artificial flavor, caramel color, salt, sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, sucralose, phosphoric acid, potassium, aspartame, citric acid. That's the ingredients. If you look at the ingredient label on maple syrup, I wish I could pull this up for you guys to visually see, but hopefully you guys are getting the point. But anyway, on maple syrup, the ingredients are literally maple syrup from Vermont. Come on. How do you think that those two equate to each other? All of the shit that's in that sugar-free syrup compared to just pure maple syrup, please just go with the regular thing. You are going to be so much better off for that. Yes, it's higher calorie. Make sure you're not eating as much at one of your other meals. I'd rather, again, you do that than have all these chemicals going in your body. It's just healthier to have the real thing. So I hope you get the point with that note that I was saying, but yeah, it's not always better. Just stick with the real thing. You're going to feel a lot better with that. Next one, kind of going along with the excuses timeline here, is I don't have time to work out. Again, certain instances, I get it, but you're lying to yourself. I'm sorry, you're lying to yourself. I do believe that not everybody has the same 24 hours. I get it. And, as myself, I am getting closer to motherhood, and I'm around women with babies. I get that. I see it. I understand it. I can visualize that for myself a lot more now. And it doesn't even have to be people with kids. Some people have just, again, really, really, really busy jobs, and nobody has the same 24 hours. Point blank. I get that. But how many times, and you need to be honest with yourself, have you also sat down on the couch and you scroll for 20 minutes at some point in your day? Don't count at work, because obviously you're not going to go to the gym while you're at work, but like before work or after work. How many times do you sit there, either in the morning, you're scrolling on your phone, or at night, you get home from work and you start scrolling for 20 minutes? Just say 20 minutes. How many times do you do that? I would argue, again, I don't know you might be like, that's not me, but I would argue most people do that at least 5 times a week. At least 5 times a week. 4 to 5, minimum. So instead of scrolling on your phone for 20 minutes, get in a 20-minute workout. Get in a 20-minute walk. It doesn't have to be this hour and a half thing. You even just doing something for 20 minutes is better than you just sitting on your ass doing nothing. Find pockets of time. Find moments where you're like, I'm not that busy, let me do that. Get up early. There's somebody, and again, this is not realistic for everybody, so take this with a grain of salt. But I want to put it into perspective. There's somebody on Instagram, I forget what her name is, well, her name's Abby, but I don't know what like her Instagram name is. She has 2 kids. She has a toddler and she has a newborn. She gets up at 4 a.m. and she records herself. She's like pretty well known in the fitness space, like she has a couple 100,000 followers on Instagram. She gets up, she records herself, and it's like 4 a.m. She does her workout at like 4:15, 4:30. She gets her baby up because the baby's up, it's a newborn, and if the baby's up, she'll like just keep him in the stroller and just watch him. If he's asleep still, she'll put him in the stroller, the bassinet, and like put a little cover over it. Still, like, you can see it, the baby, but and she'll go do her workout while her baby's there at 4:30 in the morning. And then she gets her toddler up, she makes breakfast for everybody, and then she does her whole day. Again, that's not realistic for everybody. I get that. That is ultra disciplined. But just to put it into perspective, you can do hard things. If you really wanted to, you can do those things. So don't make the excuse. Find pockets, get up early. If you find yourself scrolling multiple times a week and you're just sitting there, go for a walk. Something that I do is habit stack. So I have work, a lot of my work is done online, and so that's a benefit for me. But even if you're not online, if you have regular work, but like you have emails or you need to talk to clients or whatever that looks like, go hop on a treadmill, or if you have a walking pad at home, even better, you can just do it in your house. Hop on a treadmill, go for a walk, and answer your emails, or call the client, or whatever that looks like for you. That's what I do with people that I'm talking with. I will answer messages, answer emails while I'm walking at the end of the day, because I still have to get that task done. I have to do that at the end of every day so that I'm keeping up with messages and emails and stuff like that. But I do that while I walk, because why wouldn't I do that? Why would I sit down and then just do that while I'm sitting when I can be active and do it? Again, there's things that you can do, and you're making an excuse. You just need to find those pockets of time. Be really, really honest with yourself on how much you are scrolling, because again, I guarantee that you're doing that, where you could be getting up and getting movement in. And if you can, habit stack. It makes it a lot easier. You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're feeling better for it. It's helping with your health. Like, again, you can do it. You're lying to yourself if you say you don't have any time ever to work out. You're also lying to yourself. I have clients that work night shifts and work out multiple times a week. Like, again, I'm not going to go any more into that, but you're lying to yourself. Don't make that excuse. And the last thing that I want to talk about, the last one I want to mention, is eating things in moderation is okay. But you do need to restrict to some capacity. And again, hear me out.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you love the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.